Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Ellen Sutterth of ESP Presents and ESP Book Chats, where we bring page turners your way. Thank you guys for joining us here on YouTube. Lolita, you can unmute your mic and camera and come on in. Again, hello to you guys. We got we got three people hanging out with us here on YouTube, and thank you
Mhm.
guys for being here. And again, our author here, our guest today is Lolita Coppage. Her story I really love. I don't know if I no, I can't really because the screen is a like a blur. You won't be able to see the book. But the book is titled The Leaves Turn Brown. Now I know why you said the leaves turn brown. But tell
Okay.
the folks about yourself and about this beautiful story. Why did you pen this story?
Well, you know what? I guess I should tell you. Really, I write psychological stories about women. Confronting the emotional inheritance in their past, whether it's from trauma or adversity, what shapes their choices and what makes them, the courage that it takes to break destructive cycles. That's pretty much where I just discovered that I'm a psychological fiction writer.
Hmm.
Okay, and so that's a thing that's very important to me. I write human consequence stories. So this story here, many years ago, over 20 years ago, I dreamt the story, not the whole entirety, but I dreamt the title and four of the characters. I kind of knew who the characters were, but as you write, at least for me, I sit down and the story tells me, the characters tell me who they are. And so it started from a dream that I had. And it, over the time of life, I was able to write during pivotal times of my own life, my own healing. And so that's how the book came into being.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. That is really great. I really enjoyed the story. The last time we talked, we did a Facebook talk and we also did a uh about two shows that we did.
Yeah, but
And the
you hadn't read the
last,
whole book.
not then, but now
Yeah,
I have read it. So the show that you did, Lolita, was I was not to read the whole book. It was just your synopsis.
exactly. I remember that. You did
Yeah,
the
and
synopsis.
then so this show right here, now after that, I have read your other book and we had other shows. And so I was able to finish the book and to talk about the whole book. So those shows that we have, like this one, is synopsis only. So while reading that book, I was able to go a little bit further. So last time we had Annalise. Annalise
And
is
mhm.
she is an author, and she's a young author, and she her manuscripts get into hand of a big publication. So we talked about that, and the story gets a little thicker. I'm not going to talk about book two because I want them to talk about that, to read that themselves. So I wanted to continue to stay in book one. I'm calling it book one because we went a little further. The children are older, and also Annalise, she had her and her live-in boyfriend. There's some things going on that Annalise finds out from her psychiatrist that she didn't get a chance to tell her. And so we're talking about the part now where Annalise and her live-in boyfriend at the time, her psychiatrist is trying to stop her from getting married. So there's a lot of things that transpire. So I wanted to ask you, we see that Annalise, she
It's
is over.
Annalisa, really. Annalisa. Uh-huh.
Annalisa, we see, sorry
Yeah.
about that. Annalisa, she is overwhelmed at this time. Her manuscript got into the hand of a big publication. She cannot handle that. That's really driving her wild. And also, her husband doesn't feel the same way. I keep calling him husband, but boyfriend at the time, and they eventually do get married. But at the time, her boyfriend, he live in boyfriend, he celebrated, but she doesn't celebrate. This is when she is overwhelmed. She want to come back because she knows she's putting a strain on her family, not seeing her kids. And this is where we see um, her live-in boyfriend, where he is upset of her.
Well, you're
And
not gonna, yeah, don't want to tell all the story.
no,
Yeah,
I don't want to tell all of it, but this I'm bringing you to the
yeah.
point of where
Well,
we're
but
talking
mainly,
about.
mainly of it, mainly, it's like she's not secure to be. She becomes pretty well known. She becomes famous by when they pick up the book. You know what I'm saying? She becomes well known. She's not ready for fame. That's the whole thing. Okay, she is not psychologically, emotionally, in any shape or fashion, and she wasn't trying to be famous. She was writing that book to kind of heal herself from a standpoint of some things that had happened to her. It was kind of like a self-help book for herself. That's what it was. So she was not trying to become famous or well known. That's why she did not send it to a big publication. But it gets there and she becomes well known, and it's very destructive for her.
And so that brings me to this, Lolita,
Yeah.
is how important is it, and you as a writer looking on like this, how important is it for an author, a young author, or even those who are seasoned, to get ready for the things that is to come? Like you say, with her not being ready, it gets into the hand of a huge publication.
Yep.
What is we see it in the book once they read it,
Right.
but it spirals down and you show what happens when you're not ready. So let's talk about that. When your book get into a hand and it's going as far then you didn't want it to go, but you want it to go somewhere. What is the importance of not being ready?
Well, I think the main thing about it is people pleasing, okay? And not having boundaries and not listening to your instincts. Because something from the very beginning told her no and told her this is not the right road to go. But instead of listening to her own instincts, instead of having the confidence to say no and trying to please everyone around her, she goes ahead down this road and it costs her severely. So I think the main thing is, and me, like I said, I'm a psychological writer. What are the consequences? What are things in our lives when we don't know how to say no, when we don't have boundaries, when we're not prepared for things? We just should not go down that particular route. But she goes anyway to please him and please everyone else. Thought it would be a good idea, which most people do. Man, this is a big break. This is a big door. You got to go for it. Don't worry about it. When you get there, everything will work itself out. Well, in some cases it does, but not for everybody. So that's her story. So I would say people pleasing and not having boundaries. That's mainly.
That's awesome, and we get to see that in the story how it
Hmm.
spiraled out. So
Hmm.
now we moving on, and then this is the beginning of chapter 11. You see Nathan and you see Annalise, and so they're talking about what has happened, and it's like we said, we don't want to give it away, but then she talks to him, and she is finding some things out about herself. Let's go back a little bit when she became pregnant. You showed where the readers would see, and that's why I want to loop this together. The readers would see that she's pregnant, but then she's also going through some things, depression and different things, even after the baby. And so now she is being, she's being spiraling down, and her health is not doing too good. Nathan is doing some crazy stuff. And so in that, you help us to see, why is Nathan so mad? Number one, she's pregnant. Why is he not there for her when she's going through these things, even after the postpartum things? Why was it so important for you to show that and to show the backdrop of Nathan, if you will?
Well, Bill, really, the backdrop of the story was her personally and her relationship was not right. This is a third child and she's not married to him. So the backdrop of it is that her relationship was not solid. It was dysfunctional because as they read the book, they'll see how it ties into her past. And so there were a lot of unresolved things for him as well as for her. I think a lot of times I think they call it trauma bonding today. Today, people will get together and they work these things out. I think we think that when we get with somebody else, two halves make a whole, but that's not true. You know, have you ever heard that, Ellen? What's your take on it?
Yes, I have. I heard of that trauma bonding, and it makes the relationship pretty much Bobby and Whitney, and we get to see that there was some trauma bonding. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And you think that some when you get together with someone else, you know, and there's an age difference between her and him too. You think that that person is going to help you and help you develop who you are, but you need to have that established for yourself. So every area of her life was off. Her relationship was off. Unresolved stuff from her childhood was off. And so she was in no, I think a lot of people go and think when they get in show business that they are going to, you know, this is going to fix it. I'm going to get the adoration. I'm going to get the love from a partner. And it doesn't. It really exposes more of the cracks, if anything, in a relation. When you get with someone else, you start realizing that there are a lot of things that maybe you could function on your own by yourself. But when you get with someone else, it kind of highlights those things. So I think we get to know more about him because I really wanted to be I wanted to when I'm doing things with characters, I really want to make them not just one dimensional, all bad or all good,
Uh-oh.
because no one is like that. They're good um as well as negative things. So I wanted to kind of point out some of the things that were happening with him too.
Yeah, that is. Do you see me here? Because you kind of froze. Am I frozen?
No, you're not.
Okay, good,
Uh-uh.
good. So we do get to say that, see that, like you were saying, and you talked about it's so many things that since I've read it, I don't want to give it all away, but I also want to
Yeah,
talk. I also want to talk about like um, Nathan and now when she see when Nathan he think is not important.
yeah, you're
Now she
freezing now.
sees that she needs therapy. She see these things that she need, right? And even him going with you show how she spiraled down, and you show there's some things, some self-care that you need to handle. But Shannon, her psychiatrist or therapist, if you will, she see things unfold as
Yes,
they're
she does.
talking, as she asked him to join. Why was it so important for you to have him join those meetings?
Well, really, he brought her because at that point she didn't really want to go. She was really under a doctor's care. She was under the care of a psychiatrist. And so he took her because she wasn't driving at that point. She was not really, she kind of had a nervous breakdown. Okay. It's like we said, without, telling the whole story. So he took her, but he's also a control issue. Sometimes people do really well with you when you are, when they can be in control of you and tell you what to do or whatever. He was running the whole relationship. So when she first got there, she wasn't interested in becoming close to this therapist either. There'd been a lot of loss in her life. That's why the book kind of just slowly, the whole thing of redemption is to watch a character either get worse or get better over time. And so we watch, I think the whole premise of The Leaves Turn Brown is I wanted to show people, in a way, it's not my story, but it is. I want to show people what it looks like if you have to go on a journey to recover. What would that look like? What are some of the things that you're going to come in contact with? How will that play out? It will change the whole. Sometimes people they want their spouse to get help, but then once that spouse gets help, they're a little sorry that they did because then that spouse starts showing up. You know what I mean?
So true. And as you said, I'm just kind of reminiscing through the pages, since I have
Yeah.
read it and the different things. And she get to see Shannon. Oh my goodness, I fell in love with Shannon, and
You
Shannon
asked
has
me,
the
see, I don't
exact.
know if you remember. I don't know if you remember because when we were doing the synopsis, okay, and you asked me, you said, who is your favorite character? And at that point, because like you said, it's a synopsis, I said, well, I can't tell you yet. But it was Shannon. Yes, absolutely.
I see
Yeah,
Shannon, and
yeah,
Shannon has a backdrop to her story as
right.
well. And I think I'm
Okay.
asking you, I think as a reader that Shannon could empathize with Annalise because of the things that
And she
seems
went
like to
through.
me they kind of similar in what they were going through.
Hmm.
And so I got a chance to see that. And the book gets really thicker as they continue on. I like the way you give us a like a slow burn, but a good slow burn, like I said last time. And so we do get to see her get help. But
When
then the
and there's
children
other women too. There's other
and the
women in the story.
yeah, her friend. Give me a friend. I want to say her friend name is Katie. What is Annalise's friend name? I forgot her name.
There are so many women that come into this woman's life. You know, it's a story about, I think, about the power of having really good women in your life who can support one another.
Hmm.
Even when you don't even realize that these women are coming into your life for a reason. They weren't all good friends. But it's at different seasons of her life, women came in. Tess was her best friend.
Tess. That's who I wanted to
Yeah,
say. Tess.
Tess,
That's the one I
Tess,
wanted to talk about. Tess.
yes, because Tess's mom kind of raised Annie. Annie's mother's not is non-existent. So Tess and Annie come up together, but that's not going to be the redemptive friendship.
Exactly. And
And
so
so,
that's why
right.
I wanted to talk. Oh, let me reset a little bit. And I want to talk, I'm bringing Tess up because I want to talk about some things and they'll see. And like I say, I'm going to hit some things. So resetting. Thank you guys for being here. Ellen Sutter, the ESP presents. And Lolita, you'll see me looking down because I'm looking at the phone
Oh,
with the
I
people
think,
on
girl, I
YouTube
love
and
the
I'm
way that
looking
you
here.
multitask. You have so many things going on.
I'm not that good, but I'm trying to
Yes,
look
you
out
are.
here.
You got me on here. I didn't know what. You're
So
really
I'm
good, Ellen.
resetting with them and letting them know that we're talking about The Leaves Turn Brown. And it is a beautiful story, a beautiful depiction, like you say, of women, the trauma that they go through, the mental breakdowns and different things like that. And so her friend Tess, as Zoe and Tyler grows up, I get to see some things and they'll see. And I don't want to give it all away, but we have to give a little cliffhanger with what I'm just going to say, with what Annalise did to herself in the spiraling down of what she found out, I'll say it
Exactly.
that way, that
Exactly.
caused her to shift herself a totally different way, especially if she calls herself coming back home and to take care of family and to walk away from her story. And Nathan was right in saying that you can't get in a contract and just think you can get out like that. Okay. And so I was looking at that. But then as we go further, we see Zoe is older now. You see a little bit of Zoe's character, Tyler. But Tyler switched on me
Yeah,
because of what happened to his mother. So
exactly.
showing that in the things that Tyler, we y'all nosy just like I am, the things that Tyler went through because of what his mom was doing.
No, and because of
Okay,
what
it
she's
seems
doing, it's
like he
like
could
generational. It's like her mother's generation and Elisa's generation, and then her children's generation. That's three
exactly.
generations that are going to be impacted by unresolved family issues.
Yes, and so Tyler, him being the male, he can forgive his mom a little bit more. But I like how you showed Zoe. You showed a little bit of that, as she was younger. The flippant lip and different
Well,
things
yeah,
at a
she was a
younger age.
strong-willed child. She strong-willed personality.
But to see her grow up, and then that's why I say Tess. I'm glad Tess was there, but then at the expense of a relationship just being a little bit divided between the three of them, Tess, Zoe, and
Well,
also
people are
Annalise.
going to see their families in this because you're going to
Yeah,
see your own family. You're going to see the dysfunction and how it plays out. I have two different personalities. The son is more compliant, the daughter is strong-willed. But both children are affected in a very painful way when when there's unresolved issues in the family. And so I am, presenting that and how it plays out. And hopefully people, when they read the story, they see themselves and their family in many aspects of what's going on in their lives and not able. I think sometimes people will say, well, that happened then, we'll just get over it. I'm
exactly.
just strong. And that's not how it works. You don't
Yeah.
just get over it. Even if you get over it, your family doesn't necessarily get over it, and it impacts everybody. So that's why I
Mm.
was able to show the children from the time they're little and what happens to them as they go into adolescence and the effects of their mother and their father's relationships. But then Nathan himself had unresolved issues with his father. So it's really it's
Yes.
just looking at how fallouts happen in families, but it doesn't have to stay there.
Yeah, and so
My
another
yeah, go ahead.
so true, and so another thing also to stay on Tess and Annalise and Zoe, as she become, like you say, adolescent. And I love the way, absolutely love the way you showed that triangle where when Annalise went away, how Tess, just like her mother did with Annalise,
All right,
kind of
right.
stepped in,
Yeah, she repeated
kind
the
of helped
cycle.
her, but then it backfired in emotional thing to Annalise because Annalise missed out on those things that I guess she thought or forgot that her daughter was going to grow up.
Well, same thing that happened to her. You don't think of that. She repeated the same cycle.
Mm.
You ask people many times, when you went through that, you saw that. We subconsciously repeat the same cycle. And so that's what Annie does. It was done to her, and she did it to her daughter. That's
Wow.
very true. No, you don't think of these things when you're going through whatever you are going through emotionally. You just don't think about these things and the consequences that they have. But
Wow.
she does take a step towards redemption. That's my stories that not all of them come up. My next one now, I'm dealing with a woman who brings a serial killer from her past back into her life.
Oh my
So,
goodness. What we looking at? Wait, hold that thought. Hold that thought.
yeah.
Don't let me get through it. You
Yeah,
got me on my
that's the
edge. You
next one.
got me
That's
on edge.
Vanessa. Vanessa's different. Vanessa brings she's, that's a whole nother story. I'm almost
Oh
finished
my
with that
goodness,
one.
I cannot wait. So that was, you may not know this, but our time flew.
Okay, I'm so glad that we got a chance. I hope people will read it because it's a story, it's a journey, and I really believe it will help them look at maybe some of the things that are going on in their lives that they didn't understand is impacting their future today.
I really enjoyed that, but I wanted
Thank
to
you.
you welcome. Give us a takeaway that you want them from this point. I want them to finish the story. I want them to read the story, The Leaves Turn Brown, and then they'll see why the leaves turn brown
Why they
in
turn
that
brown, yeah.
story. And like you say, I like the way you put so many wonderful women into Annalise's life,
There's a lot of
and
women in
and
there.
then have someone for Zoe, and then also a beautiful thing happened to Tess. I'm glad you had that to happen. They would have
Well,
to
I'm glad. See,
grieve.
thank you
Yeah,
so much for saying that.
happy
I'm
that that happened.
also people can look for me as called Everyday Women Created for Extraordinary Purposes. I am starting my own fellowship for everyday women along these lines of fellowship and having camaraderie in the times of trials and tribulations. And so look for me on there, Everyday Women, Lolita Coppage. I love you, Ellen, and I'm so happy to do
Oh,
this.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you so much. Never give up. Thank
I
you so
know you
much.
talked me through because I was like, okay, well, I'm like Annie. I'm telling you, I'm an underachiever.
Don't be an Annie. Don't be an Annie. And thank you. I love when you tell me your character names and stuff like that. Well, this is the end of the show. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
coming out. Thank you for not giving up. Stay tuned for your next show. Do you have a title right now, or is you're just writing?
It's called Reacquainted.
Reacquainted is the next one. You guys
Is the
stay
next
tuned for
story.
that.
Yeah, that's
And
about a
when we looking at?
psychological.
Are we looking for the end of this year or sometime
We're
27?
probably looking at 27. Yeah.
Okay, we're looking at 27,
All
and
right.
so I'm looking to have my book end of this year. Sometimes it may be written fast, so
Are you
I'm
writing
doing
your
so.
book too now? You have your book?
Yes,
Yay!
I just did the chapter. I've not finished. I'm working in chapter one. What's going in that story? What is going to be right? What is
Yes.
the backdrop? What is happening in the
It's
scene?
about time. Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. So
Good for
that's my
you.
quiet time. That's why I'm doing shows, like the 30-minute shows. That way I can
Okay.
spend time writing.
Well, you know what? There you go, girl. Because you have been such a love for the rest of us to provide this. I
Thank
wish you all
you.
the writing energy you need.
Yes, thank you so much. Now you have
Well,
an
thank you for
amazing.
talking me through. So you take care and thank
You
you.
too. So what you're going to do is you're going to hit that X up there. You'll see it
Okay.
up the top in the right corner. Hit that and it'll drop you down.
And bye, people that stuck around. And good luck to you as you're writing and what's going on in your lives. Okay. See you later.
Yes. Thank you.
All right.
And hit that
Bye.
X. Bye bye. Hit that X up there. It'll drop you. Well, you know how to do it.
I'm leaving the meeting.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here. Thank you guys for being here. Ellen Sudduth of ESP Presents and ESP Book Chats, where we bring stories your way or page turners your way, guys. We had a back to back. And also stay tuned if you are in the Newport News area. March uh, we're going to have some things going on. So March is going to be pretty quiet. We're going to also have some April and May shows. Stay tuned for that. They'll be on Noon Vibe. So this is audio only. So we'll share that out so you guys can enjoy that. We do have an outing that we're doing, and this is um, August 15th, which will be at a restaurant, and the restaurant is City Buffet. And we'll have some authors there, 20 authors and 40 guests. Tickets are going. And also, authors do email me, do get that together. And we got an email we'll send you, and we'll let you know what's going on and update you guys. Thank you guys for being here. Again, Ellen Sutter, the ESP Presents at ESP Book Chats, where we bring page turners your way. That was a back to back, and have an amazing day. Bye bye.